want to introduce you guys to somebody that I look up to a lot. His name's Eric Christensen, and he founded a visual effects studio named Factory Visual Effects, Factory VFX, all the way back in 2010. Over the last decade, they've had locations in Northern California, in Atlanta, Georgia, and New Orleans, Louisiana. Factory VFX has worked on a ton of different things, whether it be major motion productions, television shows, even some commercials that you've probably seen. Pictured here on the screen are some of my favorites that they've worked on, including The Greatest Showman, The Big Bang Theory, Fast and Furious, Maze Runner, Central Intelligence, and so on. Now, the person that we'll be meeting today is Eric Christensen, the founder and current CEO of Factory VFX. With over 30 years in the film industry and a founder of visual effects studios since 2006, Eric Christensen has so much experience in the space. Eric, thank you so much for being with us today. So excited to have this conversation. Would you start by maybe introducing yourself and sharing a little bit more about your experiences?
Sure, Madeline. Thank you for having me here. Happy to talk about this. Factory Visual Effects is a visual effects company that works in post-production visual effects. And what that means is you have people against a green screen and they want to put a city back there. We would come in and we would extract people off the green screen, create layers with them like a Photoshop layer, and then put things behind them, be it cars, new backgrounds, Mars, whatever you want.
Could you maybe share a little bit about how long Factory VFX has been around and your current role in their operations?
Sure. Factory VFX has been around for going on 20 years if you include the time we have Roto Factory. It's been based, like you said, in California, Northern California, in Sonoma County, as well as location in New Orleans, Louisiana, and we have also incorporated in Georgia. So, yeah, almost 20 years now of doing this and still going.
Maybe you could share some factors that had led you to start your own venture and to become an entrepreneur.
Think my background is more based on the creative arts than the business side of it. So, from a young kid, growing up in the days of the Star Wars movies, Indiana Jones movies, I had the bug to be creative and explore that side, and starting to do the same type of work that I had been doing for Industrial Light Magic. It gave me an opportunity to learn the business side, which was kind of hard. Coming from a creative side to a business side is a very hard transition. It was a real hard learning curve for me. So over the years, and you learn trial by fire, they say, and that's exactly what happened. You talk to everyone you can, you meet, and you try to figure out how people run their companies, and just claw, 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 and you get it done.
If you could share a little bit about the value proposition of your enterprise, and essentially, what is Factory VFX offering to the Hollywood studio world?
What we found was really the changer for us is that we became so good and so quick at doing work that a lot of these other facilities became what we called facilitized, where they broke it up into so many different players on a team that it really kind of lost in that generation the speed and efficiency that we were able to do with a smaller team. So that's what we offered Hollywood is so we became known as the one take final company. And to this day, we are known as that.
What was your differentiation and competitive advantage to your fellow visual effects studios?
Smaller, faster, more efficient, and therefore cheaper.
Mhm.
So if you assume that a normal facility might have two, three, four, five people touching one shot, which is what we call a sequence of images, it could take week, 2 weeks for a troll turnaround. We would do something like that in 3 days from start to finish. And living by the slogan, "You're only as good as your last shot," is kind of how we ran our company. So we take a lot of pride in the work we do, and we do great work.
Could you share maybe a little bit more about your company's business model, and your go-to-market strategy? I know Factory VFX has been established for a really long time, but maybe you could share a little bit more about how you guys got started.
Well, like I said, I saw the writing on the wall when I was working for Industrial Light and Magic that they began to outsource. So our original company, Roto Factory, was started, and we basically became the secret service, kind of off the record for other visual effects facilities and helping them with their outsourcing. And that's why we became so quick, is because we were helping these other vendors who were under tight deadlines too, and plus they were CCing our work, so we had half the time that they had.
What do you consider to be the maybe top one or two factors that have made factory VFX successful?
The crew is absolutely, without doubt, the first factor. And not just the crew itself, but the camaraderie would be another factor. The people that are with me now have been with me forever. You become so tight knit, and it's like you're such a team that the environment becomes so friendly and so fruitful, and you get better and better and better and quicker and quicker and quicker, and makes the company more efficient, cheaper. So it's the crew has been a really huge factor in that. And the other one is being everyone being able to do multi-hat type work. I do all the IT. I'm the CTO of the company as well, which saves the company a ton of money.
What's the hardest thing about being an entrepreneur?
Knowing that the people under you eat or don't eat based on your efforts. And in post visual effects is kind of a high salaried type of career. So it's not cheap. And, we do a lot of LA visits, a lot of different types of corporations, ad agencies, studios, people we try to, drum up work with. But it's the fear that everything will run out, and that these people who depended on you, that gave their life to you, that have families, won't be able to support them. So that is the figure in the dark that's always running behind you. So there's a lot of stress in that.
Could you share some lessons that you've learned, or maybe what would you do differently if you could do it all over again?
I think that if I was to start over again, I would have definitely networked more than I did. If you're going to start a company, especially in something to do with post production, you definitely want to get out there and you want to meet people and talk to people, and always also learn, continuously learn, especially in your tech field. It is changing all the time, and educate your brain, because if you don't, you're going to fall behind. And one thing I have learned is that if you can bring new elements to an equation that no one else has, it's going to make you much more successful and considered an expert, even if you're not.
Thank you so much for your time. This has been truly amazing to hear your insights and a little bit about factory visual effects. So thank you, Eric.